is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Ohio.
The Indians controlled the Mariners' Mashers and took their first series opener at Progressive Field this season. Carlos Carrasco was strong again, winning his second straight start. Tonight, we'll see a couple of right-handers with blazing fastballs as 23-year-old Taijuan Walker squares off against 26-year-old Danny Salazar. Next on Sports Time Ohio. From Progressive Field in downtown Cleveland, Ohio, it's Indians baseball tonight. The Tribe takes on the Seattle Mariners in the middle game of their three-game series. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Tribe took the series opener last night, and Francisco Lindor continues to pace the team offensively. Rick, any fans who may have had fears that Francisco Lindor would somehow sit back and rest on his accomplishments from his rookie season, well, he's starting to put those fears to rest rather quickly.
Well, on both sides of the baseball, last night Lindor doing a terrific job defensively, makes a beautiful play out in right field, so to speak, and then a quick backhanded throw to first base right on the money. Defensively, he was right on the mark, and offensively, he had 3 hits. Takes one up the middle, takes the curveball for a double down the right field line, and he gets jammed with this one, but places it beautifully and beats out an infield hit. He's leading the Indians with hits, with batting average, and Francisco Lindor is back, and he's consistent. He's going to be fun to watch.
Well, Danny Salazar is off to a great start on the pitching mound. He's 2-0. And he's given up 5 hits in 37 at-bats to the opposition so far.
And he is averaging over 12 strikeouts per 9 innings. And Salazar has done all of that with a blazing fastball, an outstanding changeup. He really hasn't thrown many sliders or curveballs yet, so it's been a very good combination for him. He did beat the Mariners last year, but he will be matched up against a 23-year-old that beat the Indians twice within a 12-day span, and it's Taijuan Walker. And what he did last year to this Indians offense was a steady diet of high fastballs above the belt. They were swinging freely at him. They were swinging and missing. This guy has a very big upside, and they're looking for good things from him this year.
You know, as a youngster, he was struggling early last year. It was the start here in Cleveland and really turned his entire season around when he came in here and shut the Indians down over 6 solid innings of work. Indians Mariners, game 2 of this 3-game series. We'll have the first pitch coming up. Plus, we'll check in with Andre Knott, talk about Francisco Lindor and Mike Napoli, who are contributing big time. And these two guys weren't even here a year ago at this time. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by W.B. Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by your local Toyota dealers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Backhanded by Lindor, off balance throw on the money. He got him. Spectacular play by Francisco Lindor. And we welcome you back into Progressive Field, getting ready for tonight's game, Indians-Mariners. Clear skies overhead, few clouds in sight, a little cooler down here by the lake, but all in all, not too shabby as the Indians try to make it 2 straight over the Mariners. Let's go down to the field where Andre Knott is standing by. Finally, after all the harassment and abuse he's taken, he's got a little help, huh?
Yes, sir. I got some of Cleveland's finest now with me.
Baby.
Bring it, boys. You know, last night's game was a different game. The month of April was a struggle for the Indians over the last couple of seasons, and they knew they wanted to get off to a good start. Well, you look at last night's win, and 2 guys that weren't here last April really made a big difference in Mike Napoli as well as Francisco Lindor. Yeah, they had 2 big hits when it mattered most, but also the defensive plays that they made. So for all the talk that the Indians had of trying to be better and get off to a fast start, 2 guys that weren't here last year made the biggest difference in the game last night when you talk to people inside the organization. The other thing about Mike Napoli that really stands out about everyone else, he makes that great defensive play. He goes out and gets that great double, and they still, at the end of the day, he wants to do more for this team. It'll be very interesting when Michael Brantley can get in this lineup and you put him next to him, how great they will be able to be as a team together.
All right, great job concentrating once again. All right, before you go, though.
Yes, I'm here.
The question we have, what's in the bag?
Oh, you want to know what's in the bag?
I want to know what's in the bag.
I got my own bag of balls now. If they want some, like, come on, Jabba, see if you can make it. I came with protection on both sides.
I got you. Well, still not working, but keep fighting the good fight.
I'm trying.
Andre, tomorrow we'll have you in center field.
Hey, I like that idea.
The Indians take the field right now behind Danny Salazar, who has been sensational in his first 2 starts this year. And when the Indian starting pitchers are really good, they win flat out. Let's take a look at the starting lineup he will face tonight for Scott Service and the Seattle Mariners. Nori Aoki will lead it off. Seth Smith will bat in the 2-hole. Then it's Robinson Cano. Nelson Cruz will hit cleanup. Kyle Seager batting 5th. Adam Lynn is 6th. Chris Iannetta batting 7th. Leonis Martin hitting 8th. And Luis Sardinas will hit 9th.
And tonight's Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher Danny Salazar. He is 2-0 in his first 2 starts. He will be making his very first start at home this year, where he pitched very well last year. Matter of fact, 7-2 here in 12 starts. He loved pitching here, an ERA of under 3. He was very good against AL West opponents last year. In 6 starts, he went 2-0 with a 282 earned run average. So Danny's got everything going. He's had the good fastball, a great changeup, as we told you before, and you can see opposition hitting just 135 off a very stingy, only 5 hits in 11 1/3 innings. Let's check out the defense behind him tonight. It is brought to you by Jeep. It looks like this. Ramirez is in left, Naquin in center. Chisenhall makes his very first start this year. Uribe at 3rd, Lindor at short. Kipnis is at 2nd, Napoli at 1st. Gomes is behind the plate.
John Tumpane will call the balls and strikes. Lance Barksdale is at first base. The crew chief Jeff Kellogg will be at 2nd, and Alan Porter down at 3rd. Terry Francona and the Indians come in at 6-5, 2 games off the pace in the AL Central, as everyone's just trying to settle in. I mean, we're not even 10% of the way into the season yet, but I think teams are starting to kind of settle into a little bit of the rhythm of the season now.
It takes a while, and hopefully you don't have any injuries. The Indians are getting people back. You have Chisenhall coming back, who you expected to be there, and then hopefully Michael Brantley will be back here in the near future, and then you can start playing a few little baseball and get settled in.
Corey Kluber looking on as Danny Salazar will try to run his record to 3-0 to start the year. Salazar with the high top spikes, got the stirrups, and he fires the first pitch outside for ball 1 to Nori Aoki.
That is a look, isn't it, for a pitcher?
Yeah. A little bit low. 2 balls, no strikes. I mean, if those were If those were all black, he'd look like Johnny Unitas out there.
I was going to say a quarterback with the high tops of old.
High pop on the 2-0 pitch. And Lindor calling for it. The shortstop makes the grab one away.
Hitters are trying to get a little more aggressive with Salazar as well, because he's a guy that can put you away and strike you out, averaging over 12 per 9 innings. And you know, once he gets the 2 strikes, they don't like to have to battle it. He has that very good changeup.
Well, here is Seth Smith. 3 left-handed hitters to start at the top of the Mariners lineup. 7 of the 9 in all will bat from the left side. Liner off of Salazar, and it kicks off of Lindor. Boy, if Lindor fields it cleanly, it's an out.
Did that ball get Salazar?
I thought it might have glanced off of him. Maybe it didn't. It's going to be an error on Lindor. Let me take another look here.
I know he had to get down in a hurry. Smith, a good low ball hitter. Yeah, it had to hit him. There's no way that would have had to go through him. And you can see it was right there for Lindor. It'll go as an error. You know what? If that hit him, I'm sure it had some spin to it. Danny looks all right.
Yeah, no one even came to the top step of the dugout. So if anything, it was just a glancing carom. So the error charged to Lindor. And Robinson Cano taking a strike. Second error of the year for the Tribe shortstop.
They're 8th on the season.
And if I think back to the other one, both of them have just been routine balls that he just, hey, every once in a while it happens, I guess. You'd like to field every single one of them cleanly. Down low, 1 ball, 1 strike. I read an interesting note, Rick. Robinson Cano, it doesn't seem like it was all that long ago he left New York. And yet the Yankees have gone through a dozen second basemen since he left. Wow. With Starlin Castro being the latest.
Yeah, okay.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, it really is. Well, they've had probably 2, 3, or 4 in a year.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's not, you know, right.
They've tried to find somebody to replace him. Of course, when he was a free agent, they offered him very good money, but he ran out west where the gold was better.
And we will probably have time to get into this maybe later in the game or even tomorrow, but Cano was largely to blame in the public perception for the Mariners' overall failures a year ago. And if you look at his numbers, he did not perform up to his standards. But you also have to, I think, keep in mind a couple of things. One, you go from Yankee Stadium to Safeco Field, I don't care who you are offensively, your numbers are going to suffer.
Yeah.
You're not going to hit the same.
Big difference.
Especially when you're a left-handed guy that can pull the ball to the short porch in Yankee Stadium in right field. There is no short porch in Safeco.
Well, and they loved him in New York. Absolutely loved him. And then you have the pressure of having to play for that contract, as much money as he received for that deal. Going into a new town, a new division, everything like that. He stayed in the same league, but that's a lot of pressure as well. And then Andy Van Slyke, a coach last year, blamed him for the Mariners' woes.
Well, Danny Salazar disposes of Cano with a great pitch to strike him out for out number 2.
Well, check the changeup coming out. This will be our Circle K strikeout. It goes down and in, and boy, when you're throwing 95 plus and you see that ball coming inside, you got to start it up a little bit sooner, and it's a great changeup that he throws.
So there are 2 down for Nelson Cruz. Cruz DHing tonight. And it's just outside for ball 1. Cruz coming off back-to-back 40 home run seasons. To right field, and that will drop for a base hit. Lonnie Chisenhall is there, and he'll hold Seth Smith at second base.
Well, we saw Carrasco take advantage of Cruz last night with sliders down and away, but here comes that fastball in, and this guy loves the fastball. Carrasco got in on him last night, but he's going to take it the other way. That's okay. Keep it in the ballpark, you're fine with him. But now you got to come back and get Kyle Seager, who's a pretty good hitter, even though he's off to a slow start this year. But in Cleveland, a couple of hits last night.
Well, and Seager, you know, we talked about his home run hitting ability, the fact that in each of his 4 or 5 years in the big leagues, he's hit more home runs every year. He's increased that total. He homered in his first at bat of the year down in Texas and hadn't hit another one until last night. And as we take a look at our Kia in the driver's seat tonight here at Progressive Field, Seager has made himself right at home.
He certainly has.
Good fastball from Danny Salazar, and the count 1-1.
You know, there are parks that you go around and you feel very comfortable hitting in, and Seager certainly does here, because in his first year as a rookie, when he got called up, it was shortly thereafter he came to this ballpark and had a tremendous series. And you don't forget that too often.
Throws it by him, and a snap throw to second base. It was fairly close, and Smith just did get back in there.
I'll tell you what, Gomes from his knees threw a seed right there and almost blocked out Lindor. Watch how he sneaks in behind the throw from his knees, and wow, very good, very close.
Salazar ahead in the count, and the 1-2 changeup swung out and missed. Oh, that's some nasty pitching from Danny Salazar here in the first inning. No runs, a hit, 2 left. The Indians are coming to bat. Mariners could not cash in the first inning. Now the Indians will try their hand against Taijuan Walker. Here's the Tribe starting lineup for manager Terry Francona tonight, brought to you by Progressive. Jose Ramirez gets the start in the leadoff spot. Then it's Jason Kipnis, followed by Francisco Lindor, Mike Napoli, Carlos Santana, Yan Gomes in the middle. Then it's Lonnie Chisenhall, Juan Uribe, and Tyler Naquin.
And Taijuan Walker is our Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher for the Mariners tonight. He does not have a win in his first 2 starts. No decisions. Not his fault. The bullpen has given up a couple of runs. In his last start at Texas, went 6 innings, 5 hits, just 1 run allowed. He's pitched well. Nothing to show for it to this point.
Walker's pitch to Ramirez at the top of the strike zone.
Well, that's where you want to make him get the ball down. Last year, he beat the Indians twice in a span of 12 days, and a lot of that had to do with high fastballs.
Pops him up. Shallow left. In comes Aoki. One away. Our keys to the game are brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Danny Salazar matching up against the meat of that Mariners order will be key to watch tonight. And can the Indians lay off the high cheese?
Well, that'll be it. Just make him get it down a little bit if you can. Taijuan Walker, tell you what, pitched awfully well against the Central last year. In his career, he's 5-1. But he was 5-0 last year in 7 starts against the Central Division. And twice it was the Indians, twice it was the White Sox. He also got Minnesota one time. But this guy, they expect a very good year from him. He pitched very well the second half of last year. Like a lot of young pitchers, they expect him to get better and better every year. They shut him down in the last couple of weeks of September because of his innings limit. He had 169 2/3 innings, and they shut him down the rest of September.
Well, there aren't many like Felix Hernandez, but that's a pretty good guy to model yourself after if you're Taijuan Walker, at least to watch the way he works and operates.
A guy to work with, you know, to follow around like the Indians have Kluber going through his routine and things like that. Well, Hernandez is identical out in Seattle and has been there a lot longer. The king, when you go out there, when he pitches, the king in his court.
Yeah.
That's a great little fan base that they have out there when he pitches.
Low pitch, and Kipnis chases after it, strikes him out, 2 down. I don't know if that was a changeup, Rick, or just a.
It looked like a split to me.
Yeah,
I'll have to get a look at it again. Let's check out the Mariners defense. Behind Walker, it's Aoki in left, Martin in center, Smith in right. Seager at third, Sardinez at short, Cano at second, Linda's at first, Iannetta back again behind the plate.
Yeah, that was a splitter. The strikeout Kipnis. Here's Francisco Lindor as he takes a fastball, called a strike, just nicked the inside corner.
There you go, another starter that goes, looks like from the stretch.
Barely any wind up
just
at all.
Barely just rocks a little bit. I'm talking a couple of inches with his left foot to sit back, a lot like Carrasco. Price doesn't, same boat.
Yeah.
Repeat your delivery.
Well, he's similar to Hernandez in terms of size. He's 6'4". Felix Hernandez 6'3". So they're both big guys. He bounced that one and then nailed the umpire. Got him right in the forearm or the bicep.
Well, Iannetta got out of the way. It bounced over his head, I think. This was a direct hit, it looked like. To
change-up, maybe?
That was spiked. That was a splitty that got through the arm of Iannetta and got the umpire.
Check the swing and a foul.
See, that's
back.
a heck of a combination when you can throw the high fastball and then you have that split to go down and change the eye level. We'll see as it progresses, but when he started against the Indians last year, it got him going. His first start out in Seattle, he went 8 innings and just allowed a couple of hits with no runs. I remember that game very well, and shortly in his next start he got beat by the Yankees and then came back here to Cleveland and got the win, and he won 5 straight games after that. So he won 6 out of 7 at one point.
Lindor trying to hang around here, and it's outside a full count. I can tell this is another guy that would not be fun going deep into at bats against him. We'd kind of like to get after it early and move on. Line drive caught it short by Sardinez to end the inning. We've played 1 here in Cleveland, no score.
Live with MLB.com at bat. They stay connected all season long with radio broadcast, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet.
Now you saw as we came back from the commercial break, Taijuan Walker talking to pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre in the Seattle dugout. First ball swinging, Adam Lind beats the shift as he bangs one through the hole on the left side for a leadoff hit.
Well, that makes it look pretty easy, doesn't it, when you just hit a little weak ground ball to shortstop. But you had 3 guys on the right side, so he got through and got himself a base hit. Lind has been swinging it a little bit better recently.
Now we'll bring up the catcher Chris Iannetta.
Yeah, Lind started the year out 1 for 17, and he is now 6 for his last 17. And you take those little ones right there, that's a gimme.
Iannetta 0 for 4 last night. Cuts and misses. Last year hit just 188 on the year. And that pitch missing outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Chris Iannetta, like a lot of major league ball players, professional athletes in general, has hobbies outside of the game, but his is an interesting one. He and his former teammate Vernon Wells started a winery 4 years ago.
No kidding.
They make hard cider called Rebel Jack. 2-1 pitch. Swung out and missed.
Are they the taste testers? Or are they the money people?
What do you think?
Yeah, I can guarantee they're both.
Yeah, I don't imagine that's a cheap venture either when you get into something like that.
I thought Vernon Wells was an artist. He's into painting.
2-2. Wow, close pitch, and Salazar, thinking he had him struck out, does not get the call.
Let's take a look at it and see. Maybe just a little upstairs. Back in the old days, that's a strike.
Well, and it seemed as though maybe it's the way Walker pitches consistently up in that strike zone. He was getting that call in the first inning. Lind, the runner at first, held by Napoli, not running, and the 3-2 is popped up back out of play.
Yeah, for Lind to be running here, Salazar would have to go out of the full windup, because obviously you think, you know, Salazar swing and miss stuff. It could be an easy strike him out, throw him out, double play, even if he started him.
Again, the 3-2, and that's in the dirt. He's walked him, and the Mariners have their first 2 on base here in the second inning. Well, earlier today, the Indians made a roster move, activating Lonnie Chisenhall from the disabled list. Colin Cowgill was optioned to AAA Columbus. And Chisenhall starting tonight in right field. Terry Francona said, you know, you look at the numbers statistically, it didn't look like Lonnie was tearing the cover off the ball, but he told him he felt good, felt like he had his bat speed back. And Terry said, you know, sometimes you have to work off the player. If he tells you he's ready to go, you got to believe him. This is popped up foul ground. Gomes can't quite get to it.
Boy, that would have been a nice one to have right there. But for a catcher, it's awfully tough because a lot of times when you're sitting down in the crouch and they pop it up, you don't see exactly where it goes. You see, Gomes didn't pick it up exactly where it went. It was up there high enough, but that was an awfully tough play. It would have been a nice one to catch, though, if you could have.
Martin looking down at third base coach Manny Acta. Runs through the signs. Not surprising that you would have Martin bunt right here. He leads the team with 17 strikeouts. That's 6 more than anybody else on the ball club right now.
Yeah, but do you sacrifice it for the number 9 guy for a strikeout pitcher early? All depends on how the manager feels if what that next guy can do. Sardinas didn't play last night.
Here is the former Indian skipper Manny Acta. Not a lot of mystery here. You're down on the count 0-2. You won't be bunting now. And Salazar misses low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Salazar struck out a pair in the first inning. And the 1-2 is in the dirt. He's having trouble consistently hitting the glove of Yan Gomes.
Well, he did with that changeup in his last start, if you remember, at Tampa. Came down and, you know, he had issues throwing it. I mean, he got it back together, and he used that fastball a lot more to get the swings and misses down in Tampa. But the changeup that he throws is a split change, a lot like Taijuan Walker, and it's a field pitch.
Line to center field. This is going to hang up. It'll be caught. And the runners return to their bases, 1 down. Tyler Naquin making the play. And we'll go down to Andre Knott.
Shortstop number 16, Luis Sardinas.
Andre.
Yeah. Well, the news seems to be better with Michael Brantley. He's playing tonight in Akron. Then he will come back tomorrow. And then he'll play 2 days in a row. And the plan is for the Indians to check with him on Sunday. And possibly, after playing back-to-back games in Columbus, you could see Michael Brantley back with the team next week.
Let's hope so. That means Minnesota for a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday series. That's the scene of the crime, too, for Michael.
Yeah.
That's where he hurt his shoulder last year, is in Minnesota.
Luis Sardinas with 2 on and 1 out. Takes outside, ball 1. Sardinas hit his first major league homer in his Mariners debut on April the 5th down in Texas. Swung on and missed. Not a guy you think of in terms of power, somebody that's going to hit home runs. But in Texas, if you've got a bat in your hand, you're a home run hitter.
That's true. Well, and they go there 3 times being in the division. So, I mean, that was a wild series for the 2 teams opening up the year.
Sardinas played briefly with the Rangers a couple of years ago.
So why not go against your former team and take them deep?
Another young player. He turns 23 next month. Two on, 1 out. Salazar delivers, and he strikes him out. I mean, just pumped it by him right there, 94 miles an hour.
Yeah, he didn't mess around. That's exactly what he did in his last start. You know, push comes to shove, you get those hitters, let's go. Beat my best, I'm coming right at you. There's a fastball, he threw 3 of them right by him. 3rd strikeout, 2nd out in the inning.
So 2 down for Nori Aoki, who had a 2-0 count his first time up. and then swung at the third pitch and popped it straight up on the infield. The 1-0 missed inside. No, caught the corner. The way Aoki bailed, I thought maybe it was inside, but he was trying to influence the umpire.
Well, see, he's open. He's on the plate. He steps in there, and that's not a bad pitch.
No.
Gomes, he stays. It's right on the inside corner. And that's one time where an umpire's sitting on the inside part of the plate. He sees it, and he calls it. A lot of times, it almost has to be perfect and on the plate for him to call it.
Well, that might have been the case. It might have been the perfect on the plate pitch.
It was right.
It's just that Aoki was either looking away or just gave up on it.
Well, with that slightly open stance, you'll see that he lifts that front foot and he sort of closes it, so he's right on the plate.
Norichika Aoki surveys the situation with the infield. The 2-1. Pulls it fair. Down the right field line. Mariners will get on the board first. Adam Lynn comes home, and Chisenhall can't pick up the ball in right field. They're going to wave Iannetta home, and he scores 2. On the play, Aoki goes all the way to third, and Seattle has a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, Salazar didn't make a good pitch here. It was just a fastball, and it looked like it was middle of the plate, and he rockets it down the first base line into the corner. There it is. Gets the barrel head of the bat out in front, and Chisenhall had a tough time down there picking it up. I think twice it took him to get it. Bobbled it there, tried to pick it up, dropped it again, but by the time he could get it, I think if he fields it cleanly, they stop that runner at third, and they only score 1, but they will get 2 in. So a big 2-out hit for Aoki. They gave him a triple.
Upstairs, ball 1. I'm with you, though. I think if Lonnie picks that up initially,
right,
they don't wave Iannetta home.
I agree. If he picks it up, gets it in, they stop him because Iannetta can't run. But it scored a triple. Either way, 2 scored.
And I think what the official scorer is saying also on that play, it's not like the ball was right at Lonnie. He was on the dead run trying to cut that ball off before it got to the wall.
Well, you can't assume they're going to make 2 good throws.
Right.
You know, coming in, and you don't really assume the third base coach holding them up with 2 outs.
Well, Salazar's got to try to get himself out of some trouble here. And now he's 3-0 to Seth Smith. Adam Lynn led off the inning with a single, but then he walked Chris Iannetta. They got back-to-back pretty easy outs before Aoki tagged him for the big 2-run hit.
Yeah, that's what a center cut fastball will do. It's right down in his wheelhouse.
Already a 25-pitch inning for Salazar. Now the 3-1. Hit to center field. Naquin camps under it. Inning over. Seattle strikes first. They score a pair. We'll see if the Indians can answer when we come back.
Tickets are available and include 8 different plans. When you buy a prorated 20-game plan, get up to 12 games for free. Visit Indians.com season tickets for more details.
Mike Napoli leading off here in the second, takes a strike. Napoli with 6 hits in his last 18 at-bats, including 3 doubles. He checks on a high pitch, did not go, says Lance Barksdale down at first. One ball, one strike. He takes a vicious hack, doesn't he? 2-2. It would seem that the Seattle Mariners have cornered the market on Louisiana starting pitching. Wade Miley went last night. Taijuan Walker from Shreveport, Louisiana, getting the start tonight. Napoli out looking at a called third strike. Get more on Walker from Andre.
You know, and talking to Terry Francona, he says a lot of things with Walker reminds him of some of the young pitchers the Indians have. You know, he says he's putting away pitch. He's got one of the highest ratios of getting 2 strikes on players in baseball, but putting guys away has been the problem. Now, that splitter that worked in the first inning, he uses against lefties, but doesn't use against righties, and really hasn't developed a curveball. So the Indians are trying to get the fastball down tonight and make him throw the off speed in the strike zone.
Yeah, I call that youth. Because, you know, they want him to pitch ahead in the count so he can get ahead. He'll learn how to put people away. Very big upside. They're expecting big things from this young man this year.
Carlos Santana trying to snap out of an 0-for-10 slump.
Well, you can see the stuff is there. He's got a good fastball. He's got a cutter. It's about 91. He's got a slider, but 88, 89. He's got the split change.
Santana pops one up foul ground, giving chases Seager, but can't get to it. Last year, Walker's pitch usage 63% with the 4-seam fastball. And then curveball just a little under 10% of the time. That split hybrid change about 17% of the time. So as he gets more and more confidence in that curveball, that could become a really devastating pitch for him. So many pitchers, though, are just happy to use the cut fastball. It gives them just enough movement. Santana golfs this one deep center field. Martin giving chase. He won't get it. It'll one-hop the wall in deep center field, and Carlos Santana snaps that 0-for-10 with his second double of the year.
Really like the swing there by Santana. He didn't try to pull off that ball and hit it, and I mean drive it. He just put a good swing on it. That was a good pitch down and away. Santana likes the ball away, but this is one he didn't pull off of, and he stayed right on, and I mean hit a line drive over the head of Martin in center field. Really good swing right there. So a 1-out double, and it's the first hit for the Indians tonight.
And that will bring up Yan Gomes, who's picked up a hit in 4 straight games. Pulls that pitch foul. Gomes off to a good start this year with runners in scoring position. It was a sore spot for him and the team a year ago, but he's batted .300 with runners in scoring position so far. trying to drive home Santana and get the Indians on the board here in the second as the Mariners have jumped out to an early 2-0 lead. Ground ball hit at the shortstop, Sardinas. He'll look Santana back. And that is out number 2. And that'll bring up Lonnie Chisenhall for his season debut. Included in Chisenhall's season numbers a year ago was a career-high 10-game hitting streak in the month of August. Takes ball 1 inside. And that's the thing with Lonnie. I mean, he can get locked in at the plate. We've seen it before. And he can get absolutely red hot. But sustaining it, consistency, that's the trick. That every player strives for and seeks. Try to minimize the slumps, extend the hot spells.
Well, I'm sure he's going to be on a platoon basis, but he wasn't part of the 7 for 11 here to start out the year with all left-handed pitching. We should see a steady diet of right-handers now for a time.
Almost took Sandy Alomar's belt off. Huh? How about Santos?
He's too quick for him. He's ready to go. Look at Sandy. He's got his hands on his knees, though. But, ooh, did that go through his legs? That woke him up.
That's what all that extra cycling has done for Sandy. Keeping the legs fresh down there.
See, we're going into Detroit after tomorrow's game, which Nathan Carnes will throw for Seattle, which is a right-hander. All 3 right-handers in Detroit.
Lonnie down on the count of ball and 2 strikes. And stays alive. Still very early in this game. It's only the bottom of the second, but already this year the Indians are very similar statistically to what they did a year ago. They're 5-1 when they score first. Last year they were 53-14 when they scored first. When the other guys get on the board first, it's a different story. Another 1-2. Pulled foul. And I guess some of that is just the way that the game has, I don't want to say changed, but the way the game's evolved over the last 10 years or so, with offense sort of on the decline, pitching on the rise. You get teams
you want the lead early.
Yeah, it's a different game now. You
well,
don't have the guys that
bullpens are specialties now that, you know, everybody's trying to get the last 3 innings for a slam dunk. You know, where you get the lead after 6 and they want to put it away. And you know what? It happens with a lot of teams. You don't see big comebacks.
Well, I mean, you look at the Cubs, they've got a pretty good offense. They can mash. The Mets are hot right now in terms of hitting the home run ball. But there aren't a lot of teams in baseball who can just go out and hit a bunch of home runs. And, well, yeah, Toronto's one. Not many, though.
Can score big in Texas as well.
In Baltimore.
Houston's got some pop in that lineup.
Lonnie rounds it to first, and that will end the inning. No runs, a hit, a man left. We played 2 at Seattle 2, Cleveland 0. Cavaliers continue their playoff series at home tonight against the Detroit Pistons. And a reminder, stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Robinson Cano going to lead off the third for Seattle. Fouled right back. We mentioned before that Andy Van Slyke, who was fired along with manager Lloyd McClendon and the entire staff a year ago, he went on a radio station in St. Louis in the offseason, and he absolutely buried Robinson Cano. And I loved Andy Van Slyke when he was a player. But holy mackerel, he pretty much put it all on Cano. Weak ground ball. Napoli will take it himself. I mean, here's a quote from Van Slyke's interview. He said, quote, "He played the worst defense I've ever seen at second base." I mean, I'm talking about the worst defensive second baseman ever that I've seen in 20 years in the big leagues.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. He was vicious.
He went on to say the hitting coach got fired because of Cano. The manager and the coaches got fired because of Cano. Ooh. Now, Robinson Cano, for his part, said, "Look, I tried to give my best effort. The problem was I was hurt last year," and he had 2 surgeries in the offseason to require to repair a sports hernia injury that he had. Now, whether or not that was the big problem for him a year ago, who knows? But
well, how many other times have you heard somebody come out publicly and go on a radio show or wherever? You may feel that way and you may tell people something like that, but when you go public with it or out on the airwaves, or
it's pretty rare.
Yeah, it's very rare.
I mean, to be that candid and that frank.
Right. Because Andy Van Slyke, I mean, he was a couple of spots as a coach and did a nice job. He was in Detroit before he went out to Seattle. Boy, that's
and he was a tremendous player in his own right, and it was really amazing in some ways. Now, it would be easy to sit back and discredit Van Slyke, saying, well, he's a disgruntled former employee. He got fired and he's bitter. He's got an axe to grind. I wouldn't think he's the kind of guy that would just come out of nowhere, though, with that.
If you're a coach and you're out there and you got to work with those guys every day, you know, he can have his own opinion, but it's just surprising that it came out like it did. Why wouldn't you say something during the year, or sit down and talk with the guy if you're having issues with him? Don't know.
One thing we do know, Cano came out of the gates on fire this year. 4 home runs in his first 3 games. The only other second baseman to do that in the history of baseball is Bobby Doerr in 1941 with the Red Sox. Swing and a miss by Kyle Seager, who struck out his first time up. And Salazar tries to get back on track after one bad pitch, maybe cost him dearly.
Well, it was a fastball because he wasn't throwing his off-speed pitches last inning coming out of that stretch. This inning, you watch him out of the full windup, and it seems like his off-speed pitches are right on.
That one just missed, and Seager able to hold up 1-2. Back out of play.
That's what Danny needs, a nice quick 1-2-3 inning. He had to work hard to get through the first 2. 51 pitches right now.
That fastball not enticing enough. It's 2-2. White Sox won again earlier. They beat the Angels 2-1.
Chris Sale on the mound for the White Sox today.
Chicago now 10-5 on the year. This should get Salazar out of the inning. Naquin is there. And Seattle goes 1-2-3 for the first time tonight.
Out in right field, where the new drink rails out in left with the district ticket presented by Sports Time Ohio. District tickets only $13, and that includes your first drink. It's available online now at Indians.com/district ticket.
Home half of the third, Juan Uribe leading off and takes a strike. Juan obviously likes his new home. He's batting .316 here at Progressive Field so far. And takes a strike quickly in the hole. 0-2. Doesn't like that call. He went 1 for 3 last night and scored a run. Hammered to left field. Second hit of the night for the Indians, and this one will be a double as well.
Well, there's your fastball. You try and throw past Uribe, and he catches up to that 94-mile-an-hour heater. Drilled it over to third baseman, said Seager, and gets down into the corner for a double. Juan gets double number 2, so the Indians, both their hits are doubles, but you get their leadoff man aboard. Time to get him over, get him in.
Well, Tyler Naquin will be the batter. So far this year, Naquin 5 hits and 15 at bats. And as you pointed out, with all the right-handed pitching that we're going to see, hopefully we'll see more of Naquin on a regular basis.
I would certainly think so. Good swing.
Like that high fastball, couldn't quite turn it around.
Well, this is where Seattle's been at their best, their pitching. When you think about it, they've allowed only 3 hits in their last 46 at bats with runners in scoring position. Equates out to a .65 batting average. They went into New York before they came here, and they were outstanding. So they're very stingy.
Well, Naquin just took a fastball in the inside corner for a strike, and now he's in a tough spot. 0-2. Walker will try to expand the strike zone here, perhaps.
Yeah, you expand it, but look at emergency swing right there. You just try to put it in play. You know, your first couple of swings, you try and get that guy over if you can. But here with 2 strikes, watch this. Emergency swing,
Oh, that ball was by him.
It would have hit him, it looked like, from that angle. But you just try and put it in play. He's in for a real battle right now with a guy that has great stuff. You would like to get him over. Let's see what happens.
Right back to him, and he's got Uribe hung up.
See if Uribe can run the other way. Go. Naquin should have turned. That's where, not that he would have got to second base, but he ran through the bag, and he should have made the turn. The runner's job right there, when you get caught in between like Uribe did, was try to get yourself into a rundown so you can get that guy at home plate back in scoring position. Well, he gave up the ball. Uribe should have just taken off. They give it up. But Naquin ran through the bag. He never made the turn. See, his head's down. He's got to pick it up. He ran through the base. No, it's a little too late for that. You got to pick it up once he gets it. He had to know coming out of the batter's box that Uribe was going to be caught.
1-6-5 on the putout, one away. Naquin at first for Jose Ramirez. Hammered foul. One ball and one strike. Even with that fly ball out of the first, Jose Ramirez from this side of the plate has swung the bat well. 6 out of 18 to start the year. Walker's fastball sails high, and it's 2-1. Walker set him down 1-2-3 in the first inning. He's already at 50 pitches now here in the third. Two balls, two strikes for Jose Ramirez. Oakland held by Lind at first. Right by Lind, down the right field line, headed for the corner. Naquin coming into third, and Harbaugh with a stop sign. And so Indians at second and third with one out. That ball, as it went down the line, it looked like it got hung up and didn't go all the way into the corner. No, it didn't. It hit off the wall and it kicked out to where Smith could catch it and get it in. See, that was a tough play. That ball was hit very hard. It got under the glove of Lind. You see where that ball boy comes out. It hits the wall and it kicks out. Well, they caught a break there. Yeah, they did. It didn't roll down. If it does, then Naquin scores, and Ramirez is probably on third base. Yep. But did not happen. But second and third now with just one out. So a good opportunity here for Jason Kipnis to get him on the board. Well, Kipnis has been swinging the bat very well. 8 hits in his last 22 at bats coming into tonight, including a homer and 3 doubles. Jason struck out swinging his first time up. Foul right back. So the official score takes a double away from Ramirez and moves out a straight error? I guess so. I guess so. It was hit pretty hard. I know he was by it by the time he was, you know what, he didn't realize how hard it was hit. Kipnis sends a high drive, deep left center. Martin back onto the track will make the catch. Tagging and coming home to score is Naquin. Ramirez stays at second. The Indians are on the board as Kipnis picks up RBI number 6. It's a 2-1 ball game. And Kipnis just missed, either hitting it out of here or at least driving it off the wall for extra bases. Kind of died in the middle of the warning track for him. But a good at bat gets the run home.
Yeah, already the 6th sacrifice fly for the Indians, and you get them in. You get on the board, you cut the lead in half, and now Lindor has an opportunity with 2 outs to get a base hit.
Big bouncer. First base, Lynn has it, spins, throws, and it's in time to end the inning. Indians get on the board after 3. Seattle leads it 2-1. Take a look at the final play of the bottom of the 3rd. Walker covering the bag. It looked pretty harmless, but when he hit the bag, he kind of, I don't know if he did something to his foot or if he was just mad at himself for giving up the run in the inning. I don't know. Weird.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it.
2-1 Seattle. Adam Lynn, who was charged with an error, leading it off. He singled and scored in the 2nd. He won't single this time. Kipnis charging, flipping, 1 away. Our great clip of the game from last night. Carlos Carrasco went 6 1/3. Allowed a run on 4 hits, walked 3, but struck out 5 to keep his strikeout streak intact of at least 5 in every start. What was he at 21? Yeah. Carlos now 2-0 to start the year. Chris Iannetta launches one foul down the left side. Ball, 1 strike.
See if Danny can get his team right back into the dugout too after they get on the board. It's what you like to do as a pitcher. Boy, your team comes back and scores. Hold them right there and get your offense right back into the dugout.
Tyler Naquin pulls it down, 2 away. Hey, you can make a difference this summer and get yourself in shape. Bike to Cure in Velasano takes place July 29th through the 31st. Every dollar raised advances cancer research at Cleveland Clinic. So team up, get involved. Velasano.org. Leonis Martin.
That was a curveball. I think Danny tried right there for strike one. He's done that a couple of times tonight, trying to get a feel for that curveball. He has it. It can be effective when he can get it to work. That's the bread and butter.
One ball and one strike. Mentioned before that Martin, his strikeout rate at least 13 games into the season for Seattle is a little alarming, especially for a guy that, the numbers don't bear out that he's going to hit a lot of home runs. You tend to live with strikeouts if a guy hits home runs, hits for power.
He was coming from, Texas, where you may have a chance to hit home runs. Seattle, that's too big of a ballpark for him. He's got to, you know what, they're tried to, with a lot of the trades, make some players come in and put the ball in play, and get on base a little bit more. That's the kind of offense they have to have in Seattle. Great pitch.
Boy, Danny Salazar sets him down 1-2-3, and now he's retired 7 straight as he records his 5th strikeout of the ballgame. Bottom of the 4th inning, and before we get into the action, let's go down to our buddy Andre Knott.
Can mean a lot of things to a lot of different players. For Taijuan Walker, 3 years ago, his number was switched without the team telling him when there was a trade made. He was unhappy about it. He tweeted about it, thought he was getting traded. The team had to come out and tell him he wasn't traded. So this offseason, after Logan Morrison and Corey Hart were gone, he decided to change numbers again as he's gone from 30 to 44. Now, he's not told anyone why he changed it to 44, but he was never happy with the number 30. Now, Rick, you've changed numbers before. What could that be for?
I don't know. To be honest with you, numbers mean a lot more to these guys nowadays than what they used to be. Numbers are numbers. As long as you get a jersey. I don't know if he's comfortable with it or what. A lot of guys like to have the same number through their whole career if they can get it, and and they'll pay for it or do whatever they can. But I never got stuck on a number like that. It didn't matter.
The odd thing with Walker is he was unhappy when his number was changed originally. Went to Twitter, complained about it, and then that tweet disappeared suddenly, Matt.
Well, you know how that goes.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, tweet, that's another thing. just happen to have a jersey. You know, a lot of guys that before they make a team, their very first year, you go to spring training, you could be in the 50s, 60s, and even 70s, and higher than that.
Tyler Naquin was number 72 in spring training.
Was my first year. I was 53. You know, and then when you make a ball club, they give you a number that's not taken.
Kyle Seager flips it over, and Mike Napoli is retired one away.
Well,
I think it's kind of cool when guys have unusual numbers. Like, you expect to see the single-digit numbers in baseball. You expect to see, you know, if it's not retired for a particular team, somebody's got to have a 24. Somebody's going to be a 23.
Yeah.
You know, those are kind of baseball special numbers.
44, I always think of 44 as a
Aaron.
hitter. Exactly. I mean, you know, a lot of guys. Willie McCovey.
I know some people say Reggie Jackson, but to me, 44 is Hank Aaron. That's just, you know.
There you go. Yeah, it looks funny. I mentioned it to Murph during the game. I said, boy, 44 looks funny on
a pitcher.
Yeah, on a pitcher.
Yep.
And he says, well, he changed his number this year. And it didn't look right on him.
Pitch in there for a strike.
You know, whatever number you wear and whatever name's on the back, you're representing the front of your jersey. Whatever town you play for, that's what you should be most proud of.
The 1-2 is up high. I will say this. When you get used to seeing a player in a number, in any uniform, but used to wearing a certain number, and then they go to another team and wear a different, they look odd.
Yeah.
First of all, they look odd in a different uniform, but then when the number doesn't match up either.
Yeah, it's different. It's like a whole new ball player. Hold on. What happened? Did that hit him?
It must have.
He's going to first base.
It must have glanced him.
To get a part of the jersey.
From up here, I couldn't quite tell.
Look at the jerseys hanging out.
Yeah.
Yes, it sure did.
Nicked the jersey.
Well, I'm surprised it didn't get him in the back pocket. His back pocket's always out, but it got his jersey, so he's going to take first as a hit by pitch.
I'll give you one from our era that you can appreciate. I remember Jack Tatum was number 32
right.
in the silver and black for all those years.
Yeah.
End of his career, he goes to Houston. He's wearing 28. Didn't even look like the same guy.
Yeah, he's not the same guy. I agree with that. When you get used to seeing a player and a good, successful player, and everybody knows him in that number, it is different. But nowadays, people move so much. Players, you know, with free agency and stuff like this in baseball, you know, it's tough to get the same number every place you go.
Now, when Bert Blyleven came to Cleveland, how did that deal work out?
You wanted, he had more time in the big leagues. I said, you want it, you can have it. It wasn't a matter of, hey, what would he give you? I kid him to this day when we see him when we're playing, and I'll say it Monday. Yeah, thanks for everything you gave me for 28.
You're still waiting for it.
Yeah, I'm never going to say it. But you know what? It was out of respect. He was 28, and he was in the big leagues before I was.
Sure.
So, you know what? It didn't matter to me. I gave up 28. I took number 20, who was Frank Robinson in 75, but I wore 20 in high school, so I didn't care. You know, it didn't matter. And he deserved it. He was a good pitcher, but you know, before I even got to the big leagues.
Now, when Frank left in what, 76?
No, he was fired, I think, in 77.
Okay. When the number 20 became available, you didn't go immediately to try to get it?
No, I had 28 until Blyleven came over in 1980. Yeah. They gave that to Horace Speed, if you remember him. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to set this up. I want you to go to Bert when I'm around in the shouting area and say, hey, Bert, how much did you have to pay to get 28? Just so we can see what happens. We'll have fun with that.
All right, I like it. You got a deal. 2-1 to count. Santana at first, tried down a run here in the fourth inning. Gomes bounced to short his first time up. And he swings through it. 2-2.
That was a slider and a hard slider. I was thinking cutter, but you know what? That was just a nice hard slider on the outside part of the plate. Now, if you're Santana, be alert for the ball in the dirt if he wants to throw that splitter. His split change. Be ready. Yeah, that's the pitch that they want to get Gomes with, is a fastball belt high or a little above. Jan is a good low ball hitter.
Well, you think back to Santana's previous at bat, it was a pitch low down that he went down and hammered to straightaway center for a double. So if Walker makes that same mistake here, Gomes could have himself a pitch to hit. He keeps it up above the belt and a foul back. The 2-2. And he strikes him out. He came right back with that. Either it's a cutter or it's just a little bit of a breaking ball.
Yeah, his velocity is anywhere between 87 and 94. And it's hard to tell. Look at it.
Oh, that was
that's
the change
split. Yeah, that was his change. You see how deep he had it in his glove.
Yeah.
But he still throws that one hard, and sometimes it's harder than others.
Yeah, that one was at 88.
So he gets the second out of the inning.
Lonnie Chisenhall looks ball one. Chisenhall a ground out to first. His first time up in the second inning. High pop in the center. In comes Martin. Inning over. We've played 4. It's Seattle 2, Cleveland 1. Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. By your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. By the Cleveland Clinic. Access anytime, anywhere. And by T-Mobile. Get major league coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE in the last year. Well, we go to the 5th inning, 2-1 Seattle. For the Mariners, number 9 hitter Luis Sardinas still lead it off, then top of the order. Danny Salazar has set down 7 straight Seattle hitters. And he drops a curveball in for strike 1.
Like it. That time he just took his time, didn't overthrow it, and it's a get me over strike 1.
And now 2 quick strikes. just slapped at it to stay alive.
Right.
Sandy Alomar is a ball magnet tonight, huh?
Yeah.
Almost got nailed
between the lines in the dugout. He must, yeah.
Swung out and missed. Sardinas is out because he left the batter's area. The ball was actually in the dirt. He could have tried to run. Well, 6 strikeouts now for Danny Salazar.
Yeah, you watch Salazar and you watch a couple of pitches. There's a little slider. It looked like slider, a changeup, good fastball. He has 6 strikeouts, only 1 walk. That gives him 22 strikeouts on the year and just 7 walks. 15 in the 3rd innings.
Nori Aoki, biggest hit of the night for Seattle. They only have 3, but his triple into the right field corner scored 2 in the 2nd.
Yeah, he made a mistake to him throwing a low fastball that was middle of the plate. You can see he's elevating it here. You watch the pitch, it's middle, it's down. So he gave him a great opportunity to throw the barrel head of the bat down there. Chisenhall had a tough time picking the baseball up, and Iannetta ended up, he was the 2nd run of the inning. And that's the difference in the game right there, is his triple.
There's that curveball, but it's a little bit high. 2 balls and a strike. Aoki got off to a hot start, beginning with their 2nd game of the year. He hit in 8 consecutive games. Down low. Full count.
Seattle, they started their 3-city road trip in New York. They'll finish here tomorrow and then head to LA before they head home. But they haven't done very well at home. They're offensively, we told you yesterday, they have really struggled there, averaging under 2 runs a game.
Got to look at Scott Service, who spent 3 or 4 years in the front office with the Angels. But this is his first managing job at any level. But it's become a trend. You're seeing more and more of that.
Well, he and DePoto must have spent time somewhere if he was with the Angels over there, and they have a working relationship.
Napoli backs up, makes a nice play. Good feed. 2 away. The injury report tonight is brought to you by the attorneys at Elk and Elk. Trevor Plouffe, tough blow for the Twins. They got off to a horrendous start. We're playing better, but still just 4-10 to start the year. They really can't afford to lose Plouffe, but he's on the DL, and Joe Kelly, right shoulder injury for the Boston pitcher.
Yeah, good time for Cleveland to head into Minnesota now with Plouffe out of there. He usually does very well against the Indians. It has in his career, so it'll be nice playing them without him.
Twins play Milwaukee coming up here in a little while. Royals Tigers scoreless there in the 2nd in KC. And a called strike to Seth Smith. Pulls that one foul.
Did he get his bat? Didn't sound too solid. Just jammed him a little bit.
This can't be right. It's 2-2 pitch hit hard, but with the shift on, Kipnis from the outfield grass throws him out. And Danny Salazar is humming. 10 in a row retired by the Tribe right-hander. The 5th here at Progressive Field. Indians down a run. And Juan Uribe is going to lead it off. Uribe got the Indians started in the 3rd inning with a ringing double to left field. They would eventually score a run in that 3rd. Their only one tonight. Foul back out of play. So, Arch, I was doing a quick check of the scores. Asdrubal Cabrera hit a 3-run homer for the Mets tonight. They're up 3-0 on the Phillies. That gives New York 18 homers in their last 6 games.
Well, they started here. They came into the series here in Cleveland with 2 homers. And then they went on a tear. They hit 4, they hit 3, they hit 2, they hit 6 last night, and they're off to a good start here tonight. But then again, that ballpark in Philly, yeah, but this isn't Philadelphia here, and they made this park play small.
Two-two pitch, and Uribe looks. It's in the dirt. Full count. Taijuan Walker's payoff pitch. And Uribe fouled it in the box. It came up and hit him. And again, Uribe goes up the ladder to fight it off. Does not like the call, but he is a strikeout victim. That's 4 Ks for Walker, 1 down here in the 5th.
Well, let's take a look. He's going to go something down and away. That's a pretty good pitch. Fastball away, 94 on the outside edge. Can't really hit it. Pretty darn good pitch.
Naquin scored the Tribe's only run so far. Looks at the ball down low. Back out of play. Up and away.
Pretty straight away all the way around for Naquin.
Back out of play. Oh, big curveball. And Naquin watches it drop in for strikeout number 5 on the night for Walker. 2 down. Stat of the game brought to you by Buick. The Mets offense, been plenty of it in the last 5 games. These two guys are on quite a tear.
Now, the one thing you better worry about the Mets is that when they stop hitting the long ball, how are they going to manufacture runs? Because they're not a team that can run very well and on the bases. So, you know, when you're hitting the long ball, it looks great, but that doesn't last for a long time. It's nice when it happens.
Puts a jolt into one to deep left field. Back is Aoki, and he makes the over-the-shoulder catch on the warning track to end the inning. 5 in the books. It's still Seattle 2, Cleveland 1. In the OH continues tomorrow here at the ballpark against Seattle. Indians live with Alan Jensen. Kick it off at 11:30. First pitch at noon right here on Sports Time Ohio. April in Ohio, presented by Meyer. We are in the 6th inning, and we have received our very first note from John Krepop, our visiting statistician tonight. Danny Salazar has thrown 77 pitches. 50 of them have been for strikes.
He had his alarm set at 7:35.
Uribe makes the catch. 1 quick out. In-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Nori Aoki, 2-out, 2-run triple. The only 2 runs for Seattle. And Jason Kipnis with a deep sac fly to left to get the Indians on the board in the third, and that's been it to this point.
Yeah, we're locked into a nice pitcher's duel tonight between Salazar and Walker.
Swung out and missed as Nelson Cruz could not catch up to the heat.
There you go. Nice breaking ball.
Good sequence.
And you know what? He's had a better feel for that breaking ball out of the full windup than he has out of his stretch. But that's a great pitch right there after he throws a fastball by him, and that's how Carrasco dominated him last night. And Carrasco's slider's better than Salazar's, but boy, he's got to continue to throw that, and that's a third weapon for him with that good fastball and then his split change as well.
Mickey Callaway looking on as Danny Salazar.
And the split grip.
Looking for the strikeout here.
You change it, fastball.
Cruz getting closer to catching up to it.
See how it's funny? It seems like in that sequence he had it set for the split, and then it went off of that to the fastball. It's easier to go there than it is to go with your fastball and switch to that split grip.
I think that's why you see a lot of pitchers who hold the ball at their side before going into. They start with the split grip.
Right, right. It's easier to shift out of that one than it is to get to it.
That heater took off on him. Full count. Let's see what Danny dials up here on a 3-2. Shaking a couple of times, and Cruz asks for timeout. Missed inside, ball four. He walks him. That snaps a string of 11 in a row retired by Danny Salazar.
And just his second walk tonight.
Kyle Seager steps in. He's 0 for 2. Want to send out happy anniversary wishes tonight to Dale and Barb Milano in Ashtabula, Ohio. And Dale took Barb to Red Lobster for the Lobster Fest dinner tonight.
Oh, nice.
Boy, do I feel bad for those folks, because they probably, I mean, Dale didn't come by the nickname Iron Gut for nothing. Probably polished off a few dozen lobsters himself.
Happy birthday to Jake Marzulli, also turning 12 years old. Big Indians fan. Jake, happy birthday to you.
That's a good birthday number, 12 years. Just
right before your
teenager years.
Yeah.
Usually your last year at elementary school, you're kind of king of the hill there before you go to junior high and start all over again.
I'm glad you remember it. I don't.
Like it was yesterday. 1 on 1 out for Kyle Seager. In the air to left, playable it looks like for Ramirez, who's on the move, and he flags it down just inside the line, 2 away. So when you're facing a guy, as you take a look at Danny's pitch count tonight, other than the second inning, which, you know, he walked Iannetta and then got 2 big outs. Aoki got him for the only run-scoring hit of the night, and then he retired the next 11 in a row. When you're facing a guy, and we were watching Danny kind of go through the pitch grips in his gloves, he's going from fastball to split, whatever. Were there things at times you could pick up as a hitter when you would watch a guy, whether it be his hand move or his elbow kind of changes direction?
Always sometimes, you know, their glove will go a little higher above their bill of their cap, or if for a fastball, breaking ball. There's all little subtle things that people in the dugout watch, and hitters. And
Edgar Martinez picked up a few things along the way, I'm sure.
Oh, no doubt. There's always little subtleties. Yeah, I mean, you talk to Sandy Alomar, guys that are catchers, and they pick up little nuances that, I mean, we're sitting so far away, you don't really get a chance to see, and people aren't paying attention most of the time. But how they put certain things in their glove, yeah, there's a lot of little things that you have to pick up that they, once they find out, they have to change them. How many times a year do we hear, oh, I was tipping my pitches?
Yeah.
From pitchers when they're getting roughed up.
And I was thinking, as much as the other team is looking at your guy to try and pick something up, it's important for your own teammates and coaching staff to watch to make sure you're not tipping.
Right.
You know?
Yes, it is. I mean, and with the video and everything nowadays, it's a lot easier to pick up than from the naked eye what it used to be like.
Salazar fell behind 3-0, but he hits the bullseye to Adam Lynn to make it 3-1.
Yeah, tendencies. Everybody has tendencies, whether you're a hitter or pitcher.
Well, he misses down low, and he's walked 2 in the inning. I don't know if he's just starting to tire out here. He's at 95 pitches.
Yeah, well, this will probably be his last inning too. Callaway going to come out.
Nobody up yet in the bullpen, but they're starting to get some action down there. You know, it's like they talk about in poker. You know, the good players will find out if you've got a tell. Something that you do on a consistent basis that lets them know with a good hand or a bad hand.
Yeah.
And that's what, as a hitter, you're looking for that from a pitcher, aren't you?
Yeah. Anything you can. You know, and I think the more you face guys, let's say in your division, the better idea you get of what they're doing, because you get to see them more often. They may start 5 games a year against you as a team. You know, and one hitter may pick something up and say, hey, this is what I saw, and I keep your eye on this, and he may relay it to, you know, other hitters on the team. You know, a hitter could pick it up in the batter's box if a coach or somebody doesn't pick it up watching him, you know, on the side. That's why it's called the game of adjustments. You always have to make them.
Checked his swing and fouled into the Seattle dugout.
You know, and guys that sit behind the scouts, that sit behind the screen.
They're looking too, yeah.
They're looking. Oh, I know this guy. He likes to throw across this, and, you know, certain counts. And when you have so many people watching you, somebody's going to pick something up. Well, it's a small fraternity out there too.
Remember, when we were in Chicago, John Danks.
Right.
It was Deanna Navarro, the new catcher,
right,
who told him, hey, man, I saw this. And he had to make the adjustment in spring training. He said, wow, I was tipping it that much, huh?
It still hasn't helped Danks because he hasn't won. He's 0-3.
Right.
But I know what you're saying. I knew when you were going to throw this pitch because you did this. So if you let him know that, then he can do something different. The hitters can't pick it up.
The 1-1. It's up and in. And sometimes the tell might be more compelling when the guy's out of the stretch as opposed to in the run. And we always say, boy, when you get him out of the stretch, he's a different guy. That might be part of it sometimes.
That's true.
That one finds the zone. It's 2-2. Crowd getting a little restless with home plate umpire John Tumpane here in the 6th inning. Salazar was cruising. He had retired 11 straight Mariners hitters before he walked Nelson Cruz. And he got Seager to fly out. And then another walk to Adam Lynn. And now 2 on, 2 out. And a 2-2 pitch to Iannetta. Strike 3 called. He froze him with a fastball. Strikeout number 7 for Salazar.
Trail the Mariners going into the bottom of the 6th, 2-1. Right now, Jason Kipnis is getting ready to lead off here in the bottom of the 6th. And really, last season, his career or his season took off hitting from the leadoff position. He told me yesterday that that's helped propel him to a better April this year and not worrying about where he's hitting in the order. Here's tonight's Hear Right Sounds of the Game.
Sometimes people make too much out of where the batting order is. My response to that has always been, I'm trying to get a base hit whenever I'm up, no matter what. So it doesn't matter if I'm 1, 2, 9, wherever. If I'm up to the plate, I'm trying to get a base hit. Obviously, some situations will dictate certain swings, certain something. If I'm trying to get a guy over, I want to pull it to the right side or what have you. But to be honest, no, I don't put too much into it.
Yeah, and I agree. That's why I say as long as you make the top 9. If you're in the 1 through 9, you're in the starting lineup. That's all that matters. You have a chance to get 4 at-bats in one game. That's the bottom line.
Jason drove in the Indians' only run with that long sac fly to deep left center field in the 3rd inning. And he's leading off here in the home half of the 6th now as Taijuan Walker, over 90 pitches on the night, delivers a slow hook in for a strike. How about that? He really slowed it down. Comes back at the bottom of the strike zone. It's 0-2.
Again, Walker, you know, he's out there, he's dealing. He's started him out slow hook, strike 1, fastball down and in, strike 2. But that wasn't a fastball at 87.
That curveball's hit the center, but Martin runs it down, 1 away.
Kipnis hitting on the nose. As I told you last year, Taijuan Walker 5-0 in 7 starts against the American League Central. He finished very well in the 2nd half. As a matter of fact, Seattle won 15 of his last 20 starts. He started out the year just 2-7 in his first 9, but they caught on fire and he got into a nice groove, and you can see why. He has excellent stuff. Look at that. That was a strike. He got a break. I mean, that, I don't know what was wrong with that pitch. Watch this. Really? As a hitter, you say thank you.
Ooh, man, that's the pitch that has been vexing at time for the Indians tonight. That split change just goes straight down.
Now that's changing the eye level. Now he can go back upstairs, or he can come back with that same pitch. He tried.
Lindor beats it down the line. He might have extra bags. Nope, it's cut off nicely by Aoki in left. And he'll hold Lindor to a 1-out single.
Frankie gets his first hit of the night. Now he wanted to, but you want to bounce it again. He didn't bounce this one. But I'll tell you what, that thing went away, and he did a great job of just staying on the baseball and going the other way with it. Bill Lindor with his first hit tonight, and only the third for the Indians.
Well, here is Mike Napoli, 0 for 2 on the night. Nap went 1 for 3 last night with a double and a run batted in.
Well, you watch Walker, and he's got a very quick move to home plate. You know what that's. He delivers, doesn't lift that leg up, and boom, gives his catcher an opportunity. So not an easy guy to steal on.
I guess it helps being 6'4" and 235 pounds.
But he's not overthrown. He's not maximum effort every pitch. So that's why he can just stay right there. He delivers it quickly, and he's a big, strong guy, and that arm comes out front. And he's about 1 second to home plate.
Check swing. It's called a ball, and it's 1-1. As Walker hits the 100 pitch mark on the night. Just over 70% strikes tonight for the Seattle right-hander. Napoli pulls it foul. He falls behind in the count 1-2. Out of play right side. Indians trying to come from behind against Scott Service's ball club here tonight. They're down 2-0. Close the gap to a single run, tying run at first. And Lindor draws a throw. He had a little late jump getting back to the bag.
First time he's thrown over there tonight. It's almost like a jump spin. He got back in time.
Missed up and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, if you're Mike Napoli, this is that time of the game where you try to zero in on a pitcher. Maybe his stuff isn't quite as good here as it was earlier in the game. Trying to take advantage of that one mistake.
So you have to hope he makes a mistake.
Seattle has the right-hander Nick Vincent up and appears to be ready in the bullpen. But Walker, as Rick told you, has only given up 3 hits in the game. He has struck out 5. And he has not walked a batter. He hit 1. I should say he nicked 1.
Yeah, yes. The jersey. Didn't catch flush. Look at that ratio. It's unbelievable. Pounding the zone, filling it up. Boy, in his last start against Texas, he allowed only 1 run. But that came in 6 innings, and he's trying to do the same thing here tonight. 2 runs in his first start. Still no decision, but as of right now, he's in line for a win.
Fastball painted the outside corner. Napoli not in agreement.
Well, there's been a few complaints as far as that strike zone go tonight. It has moved around a little bit. Let's take a look at it. Well, that's, I'll tell you, as close as this guy's been to the plate tonight. As a hitter, you go argue, but he's been pretty darn consistent there.
Well, it's going to bring up Carlos Santana, who doubled in the second inning, and then he was just nicked by a pitch on the jersey. Here's belly button.
You know what?
Time up.
That pitch there to Napoli was the same pitch that Uribe got rung up on. That fastball away, right on the outside edge there. They were both the same pitch.
And obviously, to their eyes, it looks away off the plate.
Hey, absolutely.
Because both reacted the same way.
Now that's from the camera that we see. Now whether that's online, it's off, you know, center, I don't know. But in the batter's box as a hitter, you pretty much know the strike zone pretty well, and you know where the outside corner is. So they probably have a legitimate beef.
The 1-1. And the breaking ball's fouled off. Santana down the count.
He's mixed his pitches very well tonight. He really has. You have some of the Indian hitters caught in between. I got out of his 6 strikeouts, I got 4 of them called.
Yeah, the last 3 have all been looking. In the dirt, good block by Iannetta as Lindor cannot advance. That's a key, because if Lindor can get to second base, then it only takes a single to get him home with 2 outs.
Well, take a look how deep the outfield is right now. I mean, they're back there just a few feet in front of the warning track. So they're trying to cut down any double that can get into the gap.
Bouncer with the shift on Cano from the outfield grass, throws him out. And Taijuan Walker finishes strong tonight, goes 6, gives up 1 run. Brought to you by the Injury Lawyers at Elk & Elk, proud partner of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. And by Ford, built Ford tough. (2-1), Seattle on top. 7th inning now. And the pitching duel continues. Danny Salazar, he's right at 100 pitches, but he's coming back out here to pitch the 7th. You've got Leonis Martin and then Luis Sardinas, the 8 and 9 hitters. So perhaps that's why Terry Francona pushing Salazar into the 7th inning. And the other thing you have to consider is that he retired 11 in a row before the walk in the 6th inning. So last few innings, he hasn't really had to work hard to get through them. And again, when it comes to the pitch count, it's not always just the number. It's how they get to the number goes into the equation as well. Was it 100 pitches, but he was really having to grind his way through every inning out of the stretch, making tough pitches?
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case, really. Danny was able to
he
just
made
kind of
one
breeze.
bad pitch back in the 2nd inning there. He had the base hit. They got the inning going. The Lynn base hit and a walk, and then that one triple to Aoki.
Room service hop for Lindor. Martin retired one away.
I mean, Danny's had very good off speed pitches tonight. There you see a breaking ball. There's the changeup. Looked like another breaking ball there. Changeup. He's been in command. That's a very good pitch for him. And there's Cruz with swinging at the slider. Changeup away. Both these guys have pitched very well. Walker has thrown more strikes than Danny has. Danny has walked 3. Walker hasn't walked anybody. Danny has 7 strikeouts. Walker has 6. That's why it's a 2-1 ball game with 6 hits in it. Boy, these guys have been going at each other pitch for pitch.
That's low. 2-0. Sardinius down on strikes in the 2nd and again in the 5th. Bullseye with a fastball. Back into the crowd. And he's come back to even the count at 2-2. Jammed him just beyond Salazar's reach. Look at Lindor cover some ground.
Boy, he had a great angle coming in. Got a good read because Salazar thought he was going to have to make the play and jump up, and Lindor came out of nowhere. Watch where he starts and watch the jump. He knew right where it was going to be. His momentum going that way, just on the run, and made it look easy.
I think Jason Kipnis said something to him after the play, like, "Who do you think you are, Kelly Leak? This is the Bad News Bears. You've taken ever hit all the ground balls and fly balls from everybody."
That's like being the center fielder. Take everything you can get.
2 down for Nori Aoki. He's 1 out of 3. He drove in the only 2 runs for Seattle back in the 2nd inning. Off-speed pitch pulls it foul. Casey Candell flipping it up into the crowd. Jeff Manship from the right side. Ross Detweiler, the lefty. He showed bunt, and Salazar said, "Take a look at this. See if you can bunt this one."
Well, I'll tell you what, he made that mistake of bringing it up, and he barely got out of the way. That knocked him down to the ground. Might have given that away a little too early.
Agreed. Now a 2-1. Oh, and it just paints the outside corner at the knees.
Just going to go on the outside edge right there. Perfect pitch.
And the 2-2. Pop to center. Naquin is there. Inning over. Danny Salazar works a 1-2-3 seventh. Mariners still on top 2-1. Stretch time in Cleveland. Coach Mickey Callaway after he went 7 innings, but he's on the short end right now. Hey, if you can't watch the games on TV, remember you can stream them live on your mobile device. Just go to your app store, download the free Fox Sports Go app, log in, stream the innings wherever you go. It's that simple. Time for the Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen now, as Joel Peralta comes on for the Mariners. This will be his 6th appearance. And this seasoned veteran has pitched for the Angels, the Royals, the Rockies, the Nationals, the Rays, and the Dodgers.
Yeah, over 40 years old, oldest on this team, one of the oldest in the league. But coming back out, very deliberate. You remember him with Tampa Bay recently, a few years ago.
He's already given up a couple of game-tying home runs this year.
Well, now would be the time to do it again for 3.
Yan Gomes 0 for 2, leading it off.
Well, a nice night for Taijuan Walker. Again, against the Indians, 6 innings, 3 hits, just the 1 run allowed, 6 strikeouts, no walks. So for Walker and the Mariners, his 3rd straight, pretty good start. He is in line for the win today. But the Indians with 9 outs to go, we're going to try and do something about that.
And a curveball called a strike. 1-1 to count. Fastball misses away. Just 90 miles an hour on the heater there. 2-1. That curveball got him swinging, and it's 2-2. He was. I think Jan looked at it and eyes got kind of wide, thinking he had one to hammer, but swings through it.
Oh, quick pitch.
Strikes him out.
Quick pitch.
1 down.
You watch him, he comes like he's going to come set, and then all of a sudden he comes to the plate. Boom, there it is. He raises that foot. The next thing you know, you're rushing to catch up, and he throws the changeup. And you're way out in front because you think you have to hurry up to get it. So file that.
And Lonnie Chisenhall, the batter, 0 for 2. Lonnie making his season debut here tonight. And he takes that curveball for ball 1. Seattle's bullpen used quite a bit last night. Wade Miley got knocked out in the 4th, so Mike Montgomery worked 2 2/3. Tony Zick worked an inning and 2/3.
Yeah, their bullpen did a good job not using everybody last night.
2-0. Now a 2-0 offering. Lonnie lines one to left field. Back is Aoki and makes the catch. 2 down.
Well, kids tickets start at just $10 for kids 12 and under with the purchase of an adult ticket. Kids tickets located in the family deck here at Progressive Field and are only available at Indians.com.
Well, 2 down for Juan Uribe. Here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Uribe doubled to left in the 3rd. Called out on strikes his last time up. He didn't like the call. That curveball's low. That curveball found the strike zone. Uribe now with 7 hits and 21 at bats here at Progressive Field on the year. Terry Francona said he's one of those guys everybody really seems to like him. He said, you know, when he's coming in the dugout, coming on off the field, guys are always going over to Uribe. He's one of those guys too that just seems to always be happy to be at the ballpark. You know, he doesn't ever seem to be in a foul mood. I'm sure he has his days, but you know.
Yeah, why would you?
Right. He should be that way.
Exactly.
But not everybody is. And the 2-1 offering. He checks, it's in the dirt. 3 balls and a strike. Not many fastballs from Peralta.
No, he's the wily old veteran, never gives in and continues to throw the breaking stuff, takes his time. He tries to trick you.
Up high, ball 4. And the tying run is aboard with 2 out here in the 7th. And we're going to get a pinch runner as Rajay Davis will come on and take over at first base for Uribe.
I would think with 2 outs, Nick would come to the plate. I wouldn't think that Peralta's quick to the plate with the way he lifts that leg up. It may change when you have a base runner. We will find out, because for Rajay, he doesn't waste time, especially if he has a book on. He'll take off first pitch. Well, let's see what Peralta has to offer when it comes to either a move or his delivery to home plate, because that's exactly why he's in there.
Rajay 5 out of 6 in the stolen base category. Draws the throw.
And not an easy thing to do when you've been sitting around for the most part of the game. You're called upon, hey, okay, go on out. Now, if you steal a base, try and steal it. Difficult to do, especially when you're at that time of the game.
These are the
ones
money
that count.
steals.
Yeah,
right
this
here.
is the ones that really truly do count. No question. Everybody in the ballpark is expecting you to run, including the catcher, the opposing manager, the pitcher. These are the ones you earn.
Rajay's waiting for.
He knows he's got his lead. He's locked in. Getting that little head move right there.
I don't know how that can't be a balk.
Well, you can move your head up and down,
but not the way he did it.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can look down, you can do everything. You're not moving your shoulder, any of your legs, you're not picking up your foot. You can move your head. You know, he may throw over a couple times, he'll hold it. He didn't hold it as long as I thought he might the first time when he came to home plate, but he gave you that head jerk.
He had him. That head move, that's what got him.
Yeah.
And he did tag him. So the inning is over. It's the hard count. Like a quarterback in football, the head bob, that's what got him. Inning over. And may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. Well, we head to the 8th inning now with the Indians still down a run. Changes now for the Tribe defensively, and on the mound, Ross Detweiler takes over, the left-hander making his 5th appearance of the year. And Jose Ramirez, who started the game in left field, is now at third base after Rajay Davis ran for Juan Uribe, and Davis stays in the game, and he's now in left field.
Gutierrez comes in for a pinch hitter for Smith.
Well, Franklin Gutierrez, we saw pinch hit last night in the ball game. And he struck out to end the game. The former Indian leads off. And it's high ball one. Gut missed all of the 2014 season. This poor guy has dealt with a lot of maladies. He basically suffers from a form of spinal arthritis, among other things. And he said the problem is you just the symptoms just pop up out of nowhere, and it might knock him out. You know, he might be scheduled to play, and out of the blue something pops up and he's out. But Scott Service and Jerry DePota say, you know, the thing about Gut, where he's at now at 30 years old, he knows his role, knows who he is,
right.
So he can be a productive part-time player.
Yeah. Well, it helps when you've been around. You know, you played the game long enough. You've had a chance to play every day, and now, through no fault of his own, with this illness, it certainly does help.
He's actually 33 now. But primarily, he's going to be a guy that will pitch or will play against left-handed pitching. It's hard to believe, you know, he's played 10 years. You go back to back to that 07 season, like, is that 10? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Out of play right side.
It never slows down, you know.
He's batted .291 in his career against lefties. .243 against the right-hander, so makes sense for Seattle. He said that he's made the adjustment to let the ball track deeper. Right there's a perfect example, but a nice play made by Kipnis to take a hit away from him. You know, we remember him as a young kid coming up. He was trying to pull everything.
Yeah.
Like a lot of young players do, and he had some decent power. I still remember hit that home run in the playoffs at Fenway Park in Boston in '07 over the Green Monster. But he said, now I'm thinking middle of the field, let the ball track deeper, and just use the middle of the diamond.
Yeah, as you learn, you know, because you can hit breaking balls in, and you'll take your doubles and whatever the other way. If you're strong enough, sometime homers.
Robinson Cano is 0 for 3 on the night. He takes outside ball one. Checked his swing, it's inside. And they count 2-0. This is where a bullpen kind of goes unnoticed a lot of times, but jams him, rolls it up the first baseline, and that's a huge out. Sometimes when you're pitching from behind, you give up a run or two here, and all of a sudden a game that might seem winnable, you could come from behind and win, suddenly is now out of reach. So these are very important outings.
Yes, they are.
For this bullpen, and a good outing for Ross Detweiler. He retires the only two he faces, and he will exit in favor of the right-hander Jeff Manship, who will come on to face Nelson Cruz when we come right back. On division rival and reigning World Series champion Kansas City tomorrow at 6:30 in a game they tell me you can only see on FS1 or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Jeff Manship to square off against Nelson Cruz.
Just 2 2/3 innings so far in 3 appearances. This will be his 4th. Right-handers 1 for 5. Lefty's 0 for 2, but he's here for 1 out and a big one at that. Trying to get Nelson Cruz and get that offense in. See if they can score.
Swinging a foul tip. It's a strike. By the way, Danny Salazar made 114 pitches here tonight, and John Krepop, who is the highest paid backup statistician in Cleveland, tells me that it's the most pitches he's thrown since he made 115 pitches against the Royals last May.
He digs it up. That's good.
So Salazar put in a good night's work. Unfortunately, these guys haven't been able to light up the scoreboard.
Well, that's just it. I mean, he gave up the 1 hit in the top of the 2nd, a triple that drove in both the runs, and the Indians could only counter in the bottom of the 3rd. Both teams with 3 hits. You get matched up in a pitcher's duel, and that 1 run makes a huge difference now.
Did he go? He did. Manship strikes out Cruz to end the inning. And we'll go to the last half of the 8th. Still a 2-1 Seattle lead. Now Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Taijuan Walker, pretty good tonight. He only went 6 innings, but he made 110 pitches and gave up just 1 unearned run on 3 hits. Did not walk a batter. Struck out 6.
He had very good stuff, boy. 2 starts last year against the Indians for Walker. He pitched 8 innings in 1 start, gave up 2 hits and no runs. 6 innings, 8 hits, and 1 run in his 2nd start. So here again tonight, there we go. 6 innings, only 3 hits and 1 run.
Boy, this guy's been a thorn in the Indian side for years, hasn't he?
Yeah, yes, he has.
Only because we faced him so many times when he was with the Detroit Tigers. Now with Seattle. Last year he was with the Padres, and it was kind of nice we didn't have to see him. but he had 6 wins out of the Padre pen last year.
Well, they wanted to strengthen their bullpen. They got rid of a lot of the relievers they had there. Benoit was available because of San Diego trying to get rid of everybody. They went for it last year. It didn't pan out. So the big right-hander is in their bullpen now.
Do they have the oldest bullpen in baseball?
They may.
I mean, with Peralta, who's an
over
11-year
40.
veteran. Oh, Tyler Naquin taking it the other way for a leadoff single. And a tying run aboard here in the bottom of the 8th for the Tribe.
Well, he got on that first pitch fastball, stayed on it, and just takes it the other way. Good job. Leadoff man aboard here in the bottom half of the 8th. And that is the tying run. He'll be carrying the mail.
Yeah, Peralta's an 11-year veteran. Benoit 14 years in the major leagues. Now Jose Ramirez. Mariners not pinching hard as though they expect a bunt. They are in at the corners. Now they creep in, and Ramirez lays it down to Benoit, who's going to turn, throw to second, and they get him. So Ramirez fails to get him into scoring position, and there's 1 out.
Well, just too far out in front of home plate. It made it an easy play for Benoit. He didn't have to listen to anybody. He knew he had time. Even though Naquin's running, he gets down there. You just leave it out in front of home plate. So the sacrifice failed there.
You can see by just the look on his face.
Well, it's frustrating. You know, you're up there, and you know it as a hitter. You get the sacrifice. You want to do your job. He got it down, but the direction was not good.
Now, does he try to take matters into his own hands and steal a base here?
No.
Kipnis takes. It's a called strike.
Pretty quick to home plate. No, you can't make it out now with the guys coming up that can hit the gaps. You can score on a double. That is how last inning ended when Davis was picked off by Peralta.
Throws it in the ground, and it goes all the way to the backstop. Ramirez turns second, and he'll hold right there as Iannetta got to it rather quickly.
He did it for you.
With a wild pitch, and it was wild indeed.
Yeah, he did it for you right here. Ball down in the dirt, so just cruise into second base. Now he's in scoring position. A base hit can tie the game.
Kipnis has had a slew of hits already this year. 8 hits in his last 22 at-bats coming into tonight. Drove in the Tribe's only run in the 3rd with a sac fly to deep left. He checked on a ball that was inside.
That's another thing you got to watch out for, that splitter again.
Yeah.
Because once you throw one in the dirt, you know, that's why he tried to bust him back with that fastball. It's definitely a field pitch.
Well, for Jose Ramirez at second base, he'll get a great look at it from where he's at. Kipnis golfs one to right, but it's right at Gutierrez, and that is out number 2.
Well, there's not much you can do. Kipnis lined out to center field his last at bat, hits the ball in the nose here to right in this at bat. That's a hang with him. That's a tough one there.
Well, Francisco Lindor's 1 out of 3 on the night. Let's see if he can come through here. Backhanded by Cano, the sidearm flip that he's become famous for retires the side. We've played 8. It's still Seattle 2, Cleveland 1.
Along with Jensen Lewis. Jensen, quite a pitcher's duel today.
Yeah, as advertised tonight, both Taijuan Walker and Danny Salazar, masterful performances. Now you look ahead to the 9th. Indians got to keep it here. Get the leadoff guy in the bottom half, try and manufacture a run.
All right, make sure you join us for Indians Live immediately following this one right here. It's brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Back upstairs, here are Matt and Rick.
Thanks, Al. Jeff Manship got the last out of the 8th. He'll stay on to pitch here in the 9th. It'll be Seager, Lynn, Iannetta coming up for the Mariners. A game where neither team has been able to generate anything offensively. Mariners' only 2 runs came on a 2-out, 2-run triple in the second by Nori Aoki. The Indians' only run came in the 3rd on the sac fly by Jason Kipnis. All told, the Indians have 4 hits. Seattle has just 3. Slowly chopped to first base. Napoli takes it himself, 1 away. Well, to this point, this is our Pat O'Brien play of the game. It's the difference in the ball game.
Yeah, fastball down middle of the plate that he's able to turn on, get it down into the corner. Chisenhall couldn't pick it up cleanly. That allows Iannetta to come all the way around from first base with 2 outs. They probably would have sent him anyway. Hard to tell, but that's the difference in the ball game. Those 2 runs came back in the 2nd inning. Indians scored in the 3rd, and it's been that way ever since.
Yes, he did, says Alan Porter. 2 quick outs. Jeff Manship with his 2nd strikeout.
He sure did.
Yep. And then it went too far. And he cuts through a good off-speed pitch. Jeff Manship, who Got an opportunity last year and ran with it. Had a phenomenal season out of the Indians bullpen. Finally went to spring training knowing he was going to be on the ball club. Not having to show up and win a job from day one. Some question whether or not the spring he had, he was going to be able to do what he did last year.
Yeah.
Everybody said, just relax. Don't worry about what he's doing. He's just getting ready for the season, which is what you're supposed to do.
The Mariners don't have a hit since Aoki's triple.
Well, I mean, this is one of those games. It's easy to go back and nitpick and dissect it. You know, the Indians had a 1-out double in the second and third 1-out in the third inning, and then the leadoff single in the 8th. With all of that, they have 1 run on the board. They haven't been able to manufacture when they've had some opportunities. But the Mariners, they only had 1 chance, and they made good on it. A great 9th inning by Jeff Manship. The Mariners go 1-2-3. Last chance for the Tribe coming up. Danny Salazar against the Big Boppers. He was able to control the 3, 4, and 5 hitters tonight. Taijuan Walker's high fastball. Well, he pitched really well. It wasn't so much the high heater tonight,
right,
as much as that split change, and then later in the game, you know, flipping that curveball up there to get ahead. He did a really nice job. It was fun to watch both these guys go out and pitch tonight, and it's a 1-run game heading into the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, the Indians are going to have to play comeback baseball if they want to win this game. They're down to 3 outs. They're going to face Steve Cishek, their closer. Coming on for the 6th time, 1-1 with a 1.50 ERA. 1 save in 1 opportunity. He's going to get the right-hander Napoli, switch hitter Santana, the right-hander Gomes. And this guy's just a different style pitcher, man. He comes at you with arms and legs, and you'll see everything. We'll see how they pick up the baseball, but they need a base runner. But a bloop and a blast.
'29-year-old Steve Cishek. Catches the outside corner, and Mike Napoli.
And that's a tough hit. I know, for strike 1. You know, Napoli disagreed with him on his last called 3rd, and this is a slider, and you see him. He's taken all the way seeing that pitch, but
no way that was.
He gets the call. It's a yeah.
Now Mike Napoli might as well stand on top of home plate. That's about the only way he's going to be able to get to that pitch. It's now 0-2. And Ionetta's crawling even farther outside. He reaches for it and pops it up. And it's caught for out number 1. That'll bring up Carlos Santana, who doubled in the second, hit by a pitch in the fourth, and grounded out his last time up. And a fastball in there for strike one. You know, it's funny, Rick. Watching Cishek warm up, I was thinking Pat Neshek.
Oh, the one that
Another
never gets
kind of
there.
side
Yeah,
armor,
right.
you know. This guy throws a lot harder, I think.
Yeah. Cishek, Neshek, Neshek.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an odd coincidence. The 1-1. Oh, nice pitch. Drops it in. Santana taking for a strike. It was 4 years ago, but Carlos Santana had a walk-off game winner against the Seattle Mariners club. Wow, Jose Lopez, who was a former Mariner. Casey Kochman in that video. And Manny Acta, of course, was the manager of that team. The 1-2 swung on and missed. Santana down swinging. 2 quick outs in the ninth. I know it's only 12 games, but boy, the Indians need Carlos Santana in a bad way in the middle of that lineup. He's just been unable to get himself going offensively. Certainly the return of Michael Brantley in the next, hopefully, week or so will help. Yan Gomes is 0 for 3 tonight. And he fouls that off the front of the Mariners dugout.
Cishek, 8 out of 9 pitches have been in that strike zone. He has been pounding the strike zone.
Indians down to their
Now
last
0-2.
strike.
He came in from that bullpen and just started throwing strikes.
Strike's about to end the ball game. Seattle wins it 2-1. Another 2-1 ball game. We had one earlier today in which the White Sox were able to win a game 2-1 over the Angels. Chris Sale in that game became Major's first 4-game winner. Here tonight, it's Taijuan Walker who gets his first win of the season as Seattle holds on for the final of a 2-1 score. Mariners go to 6-8. Indians fall back to 500 once again as they are now 6-6 on the year. Not much really to dissect.
There really isn't. It was a well-pitched ball
Yeah.
game on both sides. There really was matched up. We showed you where Salazar made one little mistake, and Walker did not. And the rest of the bullpen, they came out throwing strikes. And 2-1 ball game. Not much you can say.
Yeah,
well pitched.
One big hit for Seattle. That was the difference in the ball game. And so it all hangs in the balance tomorrow. The rubber match. Don't forget, folks. It's at noon Eastern time. We'll have it for you right here on Sports Time Ohio. For Rick Manning and Andre Knott, I'm Matt Underwood. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for Indians Live with Alan Jensen. It's coming up next.